It was a bright morning in Enchantia, and the castle garden sparkled with the light of a brand new day. Sophia woke up feeling cheerful, her amulet glimmering faintly beside her on the nightstand. She hurried to get ready for another exciting day at Royal Prep Academy. As she walked to the golden halls, she wondered what kind of lesson Miss Flora had planned for them today. At Royal Prep, the grand classroom buzzed with chatter as Princess Hildegard and Princess Cleo whispered about the upcoming royal gala, and Amber practiced her curtsy in front of a mirror. Sophia slipped into her seat just as the fairy headmistresses entered, fluttering gracefully before the students. "Good morning, class," Miss Flora announced, her wand glowing with excitement. "Today, you'll begin a very special project, one that will help you discover what it truly means to be a good princess." The class leaned forward with curiosity. Miss Merriweather waved her wand, and a row of blank, shimmering journals appeared on each student's desk. "Each of you will write your own Princess Guidebook," she explained. "Fill it with lessons, experiences, and values that you believe define true royalty." Sophia's eyes lit up as she ran her fingers over the cover of her journal. It was soft lavender, embossed with silver vines and tiny crown designs. On the front, the words "My Guide to Being a Good Princess" gleamed in elegant script. Miss Flora continued, "You'll present your guide at the end of the term during the Royal Showcase. Remember, this is not about who is perfect, but who understands the heart of being royal." Amber smiled proudly, already imagining hers filled with perfect curtsies, glittering gowns, and royal etiquette tips. "Well, this should be easy," she said, flipping her hair. "Being royal is about grace, poise, and looking absolutely stunning at royal events." Sophia giggled softly but didn't say anything. Deep down, she wasn't sure that being a princess was only about appearances. Ever since she became one, she'd learned that kindness, bravery, and honesty mattered even more than tiaras. As the class ended, Sophia walked out with her best friends, Ruby and Jade, who were visiting from Dunwoody. "A Princess Guidebook?" Jade asked curiously. "That sounds so fancy." "It does," Sophia admitted, smiling. "But I want mine to be different. I don't just want to write about rules or fancy manners. I want it to be about real things, like helping people, standing up for what's right, and believing in yourself." Ruby grinned. "That sounds just like you, Sophia." That evening, Sophia sat by her window, the moonlight pouring gently into her room. She opened the first page of her guidebook and wrote carefully at the top, "Lesson 1, a good princess is kind." She smiled at the words but then hesitated, thinking about all the moments that had taught her kindness. She remembered helping Clover find his way back home when he got lost, comforting James when he felt left out, and showing Amber that being a sister was more important than being perfect. As she looked out the window at the twinkling stars, she whispered, "I guess being a good princess starts with having a good heart." The amulet around her neck shimmered softly, almost as if agreeing with her. Sophia didn't know it yet, but this simple idea would lead her into many more adventures, and each one would teach her a new chapter in her guide to being a good princess. And so, with a hopeful smile, she dipped her quill into ink and began to write her story. A story filled with kindness, courage, and the true meaning of being royal. The next morning, the royal castle buzzed with cheerful energy. Servants hurried through the corridors preparing breakfast. Clover munched on his favorite carrots, and Sophia sat at her desk, rereading the first page of her Princess Guidebook. Written in neat purple ink were the words, "Lesson 1, a good princess is kind." Sophia smiled, but she wanted to live that lesson, to find something that would show what kindness really meant. She didn't have to wait long for the chance. Later that day, at Royal Prep, Miss Flora gathered the students for a special task. "Princesses and princes," she said, "today you'll work together to prepare decorations for the Enchantia Friendship Festival. Remember, teamwork and kindness go hand in hand." Amber immediately began arranging ribbons, insisting that everything sparkled perfectly. James helped carry boxes of supplies, while Sophia teamed up with Princess Hildegard and a quiet page boy named Thomas, who looked a little nervous among the royals. Thomas was new to the castle staff, and he was shy about speaking princesses. He tripped over a spool of ribbon and accidentally knocked over a basket of golden flowers. A few students giggled, and his face turned bright red. "It's all right, Thomas," Sophia said gently, bending to help him gather the flowers. "Accidents happen. We'll fix it together." He looked up in surprise. "Why, you don't mind?" "Of course not," she said with a warm smile. "Kindness means helping each other, right?" Amber, watching nearby, frowned slightly. "Sophia, you're wasting time. We have to make these decorations perfect before lunch." Sophia turned to her sister, her tone calm but firm. "They'll be perfect if everyone feels happy helping. It's not just about how things look, Amber. It's about how we make people feel." Amber blinked, thinking about that for a moment before crossing her arms. "I suppose," she muttered, though a small smile tugged at her lips. As the day went on, Sophia worked beside Thomas, showing him how to hang the ribbons and twist the flowers into crowns. They laughed as Clover hopped by, trying to help by tugging at a few ribbons with his teeth. When the task was done, the decorations looked more beautiful than anyone had expected. Soft golden flowers intertwined with lavender ribbons, each piece filled with care and teamwork. Miss Flora floated over, beaming. "Wonderful work, everyone. These decorations are lovely, but what I love most is the kindness I saw while you worked." Sophia's cheeks flushed with pride. Thomas smiled shyly at her, whispering, "Thank you, Princess Sofia. No one's ever treated me like that before." That evening, back at the castle, Sophia opened her guidebook and added another line beneath Lesson 1. Kindness isn't just helping others. It's seeing their worth, even when they don't see it themselves. Just then, Clover hopped onto her desk. "So, how's the royal homework going, Princess?" he asked between bites of lettuce. Sophia giggled. "It's not just homework, Clover. It's something that reminds me who I want to be. Not just a princess with crown, but one who makes others feel special." Clover twitched his nose. "Well, sounds like you're already doing that." As Sophia looked at the glowing stars through her window, she felt her heart swell with warmth. Today had been a small act of kindness, but it had made a big difference, and she knew her next lesson would teach her something just as important. Little did she know that lesson would come sooner than she expected, one that would test her bravery and show her that courage was just another form of kindness in disguise. A few days later, Enchantia was abuzz with excitement. The Royal Spring Parade was coming up. The streets would be filled with flowers, music, and colorful carriages. It was Sophia's first time leading the parade beside King Roland and Amber, and she wanted everything to be perfect. That morning, she woke up early and looked at herself in the mirror. "I can do this," she whispered, adjusting her lavender gown. But deep down, she felt a little nervous. Leading a parade wasn't just about smiling and waving. It meant being confident in front of everyone in the kingdom. At breakfast, Amber twirled proudly in her new gown. "I can't wait for everyone to see my new tiara. I'm sure I'll be dazzling." Sophia smiled, trying to hide her unease. "You'll look amazing, Amber. I just hope I don't mess anything up." King Roland chuckled kindly. "You'll do fine, Sophia. Just remember, a good princess leads with courage, even when she feels afraid." Those words stayed in her mind as she arrived at the parade grounds. The streets were lined with cheering villagers, waving flags and tossing flower petals. Sophia climbed into her royal carriage, her amulet glimmering in the sunlight. The horses neighed softly, and everything seemed to be going perfectly, until a loud crack echoed through the air. One of the carriage wheels had splintered. The horses whinnied nervously, and the carriage tilted slightly to one side. Amber gasped, clutching her crown. The crowd fell silent, and the parade came to a sudden halt. Panic rose in Sophia's chest. She glanced at her father, who was several carriages behind. He couldn't reach them quickly in the crowd. For a moment, she wanted to sit still and hope someone else fixed it, but then she remembered his words. A good princess leads with courage. Sophia took a deep breath. "Everyone stay calm," she said firmly. "We'll figure this out." She climbed carefully down from the carriage and approached the frightened horses, speaking softly to them. "It's okay. Girl, you're all right," she whispered, gently stroking one's mane. James jumped down to help steady the wheel. "We can't move the carriage unless someone clears the path," he said. "I'll do it," Sophia replied. She turned to the crowd, smiling bravely. "Please step back, everyone. We just need a little space." Her calm voice and kind tone reassured everyone. The villagers quickly moved aside, and with the help of the royal guards, Sophia guided the horses safely to the side. Within moments, the carriage was repaired and the parade resumed, all thanks to her courage. As they continued down the street, Amber whispered, "Sophia, I didn't think you'd be so calm. I was terrified." Sophia smiled. "So was I. But I remembered what Dad said. Courage isn't about not being scared. It's about doing the right thing even when you are." The crowd cheered as her carriage passed, and Sophia waved proudly, her heart soaring. When they returned to the castle that evening, she immediately opened her Princess Guidebook and wrote, "Lesson 2. A good princess is brave. Courage means standing tall even when you feel small, and showing others that bravery can be gentle too." She traced the words with her quill, smiling softly. Clover hopped onto her shoulder and said, "You were pretty amazing today, Princess." Sophia laughed. "Thanks, Clover. I just did what I thought was right." The amulet on her chest shimmered faintly, as if rewarding her for her bravery. She knew there were still many lessons to learn, and the next one, she suspected, might test her honesty more than ever before. The sun rose over Enchantia, casting a golden glow on the castle towers. Birds chirped outside Sophia's window as she flipped through her Princess Guidebook. Her next page was still blank, and she tapped her quill thoughtfully. "Kindness, courage," she murmured. "What else makes a good princess?" She didn't have an answer yet, but she was about to find one. That morning, Miss Flora announced a surprise project at Royal Prep. "Tomorrow," she said, "each princess will present a royal garden display showing her creativity and care for nature." Amber squealed with excitement. "Oh, how wonderful. I'll make a rose garden shaped like my initials." Sophia smiled. "I think I'll plant lilies and violets together. They look so pretty side by side." When she got home that afternoon, Sophia began her garden right outside the castle courtyard. She worked happily with Clover and Robin the bird, arranging each plant with care. But as the day grew late, she realized something. The soil was too dry. No matter how she watered it, the flowers drooped. "Oh no," Sophia sighed. "If they don't perk up by tomorrow, my project will be ruined." Just then, Amber strolled by, her own garden glowing with perfect pink blossoms. "Everything all right, dear sister?" she asked sweetly. Sophia hesitated. She didn't want Amber to tease her for struggling, so she forced a smile. "Everything's fine. My flowers will be great." But as night fell, the garden still looked wilted. Clover tilted his head. "Maybe you should tell Miss Flora what happened. She'll understand." Sophia shook her head. "I can't show up empty-handed. I'll just borrow one of Amber's roses and add it to my garden. It's just one flower. No one will notice." So, quietly, she plucked a single pink rose and placed it among her drooping plants. It looked beautiful, just the touch her garden needed. But deep down, she felt uneasy. The next morning, all the princesses presented their gardens proudly. Miss Flora floated from one to another, her wand glittering as she admired their work. When she reached Sophia's garden, she gasped softly. "Oh, Princess Sophia, how lovely! Such perfect color." Sophia smiled nervously, twisting her fingers behind her back. But before Miss Flora could move on, Amber suddenly stepped forward. "Wait! That rose looks exactly like mine," she said suspiciously. "In fact, I'm sure it is mine." The class fell silent. Sophia's heart pounded. Everyone looked at her, waiting for her to deny it, but she couldn't. The truth weighed heavy in her chest. "You're right," she said softly. "I took it. My flowers weren't growing, and I didn't want to fail. I'm really sorry, Amber." Amber blinked, surprised by the honesty. Miss Flora smiled gently. "Thank you for telling the truth, Sophia. It takes courage to admit a mistake. Remember, every princess slips up now and then. What matters is that she learns and makes things right." Sophia nodded, feeling both guilty and relieved. She carefully plucked a rose from her garden and handed it back to Amber. "Here, and I'll work on my flowers again the right way." Amber hesitated, then smiled faintly. You can take one of my watering charms if you want. It helps keep the plants fresh. Sophia's eyes widened. Really? Thank you, Amber. That evening, Sophia opened her Princess Guidebook again and wrote carefully. Lesson 3. A good princess is honest. Honesty may be hard, but it shines brighter than any jewel. When you tell the truth, you help others trust your heart. She smiled at the page, feeling lighter. Clover hopped beside her, smirking. Guess you learned something today, huh? Sophia giggled. I sure did, Clover. Being a princess isn't about being perfect. It's about being true. As the moonlight glowed on her amulet, Sophia closed her book and whispered, Tomorrow, I'll start a new lesson. She didn't know it yet, but that next lesson would challenge her in an entirely new way, one that would test her loyalty to her friends and her heart itself. The next week, excitement filled Royal Prep Academy. Miss Merriweather fluttered into classroom, her wand glowing with cheerful sparkles. Class, she announced, it's time for our annual Royal Talent Showcase. Each student will perform a special talent, and the best performance will earn the Royal Star Medal. The room burst into chatter. Amber gasped, clutching her necklace. The Royal Star Medal? Oh, that's the most prestigious award in all of Royal Prep. I must win it. Sophia smiled. It sounds like fun. I'm not sure what I'll do yet, but I want to make something everyone will enjoy. All day, the halls buzzed with ideas. Hildegard planned to sing. Cleo wanted to dance, and James talked about juggling while riding a unicycle. Sophia decided to play her enchanted mandolin, a gift from her mom. She wanted her song to be about friendship, something everyone could feel connected to. When Amber heard Sophia practicing that evening, she peeked into her sister's room. That's actually quite good, Amber admitted softly. But I was thinking maybe we could do a duet. Imagine Princess Amber and Princess Sophia dazzling the judges together. Sophia's eyes lit up. That sounds wonderful. We could perform as sisters. The two spent the next few days rehearsing. They practiced every note, every harmony, and every graceful bow. Their voices blended beautifully, and even Clover and Robin clapped after each run-through. But the night before the showcase, Miss Flora posted the official performance list on the Academy bulletin board. Sophia's name appeared under Solo Acts. Amber's name, however, was listed separately under Individual Song Performance. Amber gasped. What? They didn't list us together? Oh no, this must be a mistake. Sophia frowned, reading it again. Maybe they thought we were performing separately. Amber's expression hardened. Then it's fine. I'll just make sure my performance outshines everyone else's, even yours. Sophia's heart sank. Amber, wait. We can still perform together. I'll talk to Miss Flora. But Amber had already walked away, chin lifted proudly. The next day, the grand hall was filled with glowing lanterns and excited students. Sophia waited backstage, mandolin in hand, feeling a mix of excitement and sadness. She had wanted to share the stage with Amber, not compete against her. When it was Amber's turn, she walked gracefully onto the stage, wearing a sparkling pink gown. Her song was perfect, every note flawless, her voice shining like a star. The audience applauded loudly. Then it was Sophia's turn. She took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage, her amulet glinting softly. This song, she said, is for everyone who's ever believed in their friends. Her fingers strummed gently, and her voice filled the hall. Soft, warm, and full of heart. It wasn't as polished as Amber's, but it touched everyone deeply. By the time she finished, the crowd was silent for a moment, and then burst into applause. Afterward, Amber approached Sophia, her expression unreadable. That was beautiful, she said quietly. You didn't try to show me up. You just sang from your heart. Sophia smiled. Because that's what being a princess means. Lifting others up, not competing to be better. Friendship always comes before fame. Amber sighed, then hugged her sister. You're right. I think I needed to hear that. When the results were announced, neither of them won the Royal Star Medal, but it didn't matter. They had found something far more precious. Understanding. That evening, Sophia opened her guidebook and wrote, Lesson 4. A good princess puts friendship over fame. Being royal isn't about winning the spotlight. It's about shining together with those you care about. Clover peeked over her shoulder. You sure know how to turn every adventure into a life lesson. Sophia laughed. Maybe that's what my guidebook is for. As the stars twinkled outside her window, she smiled, wondering what lesson tomorrow might bring. One that would test not her courage or honesty, but her grace. The following morning, the castle was filled with excitement. A grand royal banquet was to be held in honor of visiting dignitaries from neighboring kingdoms. Sophia awoke early, brushing her hair carefully and choosing a gown of soft lavender with silver embroidery. Today's lesson, she thought, might be about grace, something she had always admired in Queen Miranda and Miss Flora. As she descended the grand staircase, Clover bounded after her. Gown looks nice, princess. But remember, grace isn't just about dresses. It's about how you carry yourself. Sophia giggled. I know, Clover. Today I'll try to be graceful in every step, and not just on the dance floor. In the banquet hall, tables sparkled with polished silverware, golden goblets, and arrangements of delicate flowers. The aroma of fresh bread and roasted vegetables filled the air. Sophia greeted the visiting princes and princesses with a gentle curtsy, then carefully helped serve drinks to the younger guests. She tried to smile warmly and make each guest feel welcome. However, no matter how much she tried, little mishaps kept happening. A tray of desserts wobbled in her hands, nearly spilling chocolate tarts. A startled page accidentally dropped a plate of fruit at her feet. Sophia's heart raced, and for a moment she felt flustered. She looked around nervously, hoping no one had noticed. Just then, Queen Miranda approached with a kind smile. Sophia, she said softly, remember, grace is not about perfection. It's about composure, kindness, and how you respond when things don't go as planned. Sophia took a deep breath. She steadied the tray and carefully picked up the fallen fruit, smiling at the page boy. It's all right. Accidents happen, she said gently. Her calm voice seemed to settle the flustered page, who nodded and continued helping. During the banquet, a dance was held. Sophia joined Amber and other princesses in a waltz. She glided across the polished floor, her arms soft, her posture poised. Yet she remembered that true grace also came from how she treated others, offering a hand to a nervous partner, encouraging Clover when he tried to dance by hopping alongside, and praising every student who tried their best. Even when Cedric caused a minor magical mishap, floating goblets spinning in the air, Sophia didn't panic. She clapped her hands gently, guiding the goblets back down safely with the help of her magic amulet. The audience laughed in delight, and Sophia bowed with ease, showing that composure can turn even mistakes into moments of charm. After the banquet, as the hall emptied and lanterns dimmed, Sophia found a quiet corner to open her guidebook. She carefully wrote her newest lesson. Lesson 5. A good princess shows grace in every step. Grace isn't perfection. It's how you handle challenges, treat others with respect, and stay kind even when things go wrong. Clover hopped onto her desk. You were really graceful today, princess, even with all the chaos. Sophia laughed softly. Thanks, Clover. I realize that being graceful isn't about looking perfect. It's about keeping your heart calm and helping others along the way. She looked out the window at the sparkling night sky. Stars twinkled like the jewels in her crown, reminding her that every step she took, every smile she shared, left a little light in the world. Sophia closed her guidebook, feeling proud. She knew tomorrow would bring her final lesson, the one that would tie together kindness, courage, honesty, friendship, and grace into the ultimate secret of being a truly good princess. The morning sun spilled golden light across the castle towers as Sophia prepared for a very special day. Today, she would complete her Princess Guidebook, the culmination of all the lessons she had learned. Kindness, courage, honesty, friendship, and grace. She felt a flutter of excitement mixed with a little nervousness. This wasn't just about writing down words. It was about understanding what being a princess truly meant. Sophia sat at her desk, quill in hand, flipping through the pages she had filled over the past weeks. Each lesson reminded her of the adventures and challenges she had faced. She smiled as she remembered helping the shy page boy, calming the frightened horses during the parade, and telling the truth about Amber's rose. Each experience had taught her that being a princess was about more than titles or crowns. It was about the heart. Clover hopped onto her desk, nudging her gently. "So, Princess, what's the final lesson going to be?" Sophia thought for a moment. "I think it's the lesson that ties everything together," she said softly. "It's about what really makes a princess a good princess." She dipped her quill in ink and began to write. Lesson 6. The true meaning of being royal. Being a good princess is not about the crown on your head or the gowns you wear. It is about the choices you make, the hearts you touch, and the kindness you show every day. A true princess lifts others, stands brave in the face of challenges, speaks honestly, values friendship over fame, and carries herself with grace. But most importantly, she leads with love. Sophia paused, smiling at the words. She realized that each lesson she had learned was part of a greater story. The story of how to use her royal powers for good, how to bring joy to others, and how to shine in a way that wasn't just for herself. Just then, Amber peeked into the room. "Are you done with your guidebook, Sophia?" she asked curiously. Sophia nodded. "Almost. I just finished the last lesson. I think this one might be the most important." Amber walked over and looked at the page. Her eyes softened as she read. "Sophia, this is amazing. You've really figured out what being a princess is about." Sophia smiled. "It wasn't easy, but I think I understand now. Being royal isn't about perfection. It's about helping others shine and doing what's right, even when it's hard." Amber hugged her sister. "I'm proud of you, Sophia. You've taught me a lot, too." Clover twitched his nose. "Looks like the guidebook isn't just for you, Princess. It's for everyone in the castle." Sophia laughed. "Exactly, Clover. And someday, I hope other princesses can read it and learn too." That afternoon, Sophia presented her completed Princess Guidebook to Miss Flora. The headmistress smiled warmly, her wand sparkling. "Sophia, your guidebook is full of wisdom, heart, and magic. You've truly captured the spirit of a good princess." Sophia blushed, feeling proud. She realized that the guidebook wasn't just a school project. It was a reflection of her journey, her growth, and her heart. As the sun set over Enchantia, Sophia looked out from her balcony. The castle sparkled in the fading light, and the stars twinkled above. She held her guidebook close and whispered softly, "Being a princess isn't just a title, it's a promise to be kind, brave, honest, and loving every single day." Her amulet glimmered gently in response, as if agreeing with her. Sophia smiled, knowing that her journey as a princess had only just begun. And with each new adventure, she would continue to grow, learn, and inspire others. Because, in the end, a good princess isn't measured by crowns or jewels, but by the light she shares with the world.